Now, as always, this is Andrew DeStefano, Putnam County Crime Analysis. I'm doing my project, CPTED, for school, which is Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design. Again, Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design. It's called CPTED. It's been around for about half a century, all right? Now, the way I told my professors I'm going to go about it is I'm going to critique what current law enforcement is doing on the Putnam County Trailway. My project is on the Trailway. So the Sheriff's Department at least put out some things that they said they were going to do. And then I'm going to follow up with my plan for CPTED on the Trailway. CPTED is the only thing that's going to work on the Trailway. This whole thing about lights, cameras, everything else, that's it's irrelevant on the Putnam County Trailway, you know. So as I'm just going through it one piece at a time. But I'm going to talk about one thing that was not talked about. And I'm disappointed in that, because if you're going to tackle crime in a specific area, like an anti-crime plan on the Putnam County Trailway, and you have a graffiti problem on that trailway, then you need to address graffiti. And there was something in the Sheriff's Department anti-crime plan that was not addressed. It wasn't spoken about. And that's graffiti. You cannot have an anti-crime plan. You cannot have an anti-crime plan without dealing with graffiti. Because graffiti is one thing. It is defiance of authority. All right. It's a crime. It's a crime. But it allows the window into what people are thinking, and people are coming onto that trailway with the intention of committing a crime. And that's a trespass if it happens at night. Because remember, Putnam County Trailway is closed at night, which we found out, unfortunately, the hard way. Now, I'm going to be addressing this problem that the Sheriff's Department did not put in their plan, and I don't know why. All right. Now, I have my trusty notes here. All right. So I just make the notes as I go, you know. So graffiti begets graffiti. You put graffiti, it's not addressed, what happens? You get more graffiti. All right. Now, graffiti suggests that the county doesn't care and the county's not doing anything about it, and also suggests that the place isn't safe. That's the feeling that people get if they walk on an area that has significant graffiti. And unfortunately, from what I see, the trailway, and I've walked it many times now, the trailway has significant graffiti. Any place you can put graffiti, there is graffiti. You know, you can't really put graffiti on trees and bushes, but any structure there, the tunnels, the walls, the the gates, more gates, trestle. There's all kinds of graffiti. You know, everywhere you can put graffiti, graffiti exists. Now, this doesn't occur in the vacuum. All right, it often relates to other crimes and other disorder problems. You know, guys hanging out, stuff like that. All right. Now, you need to get a frame of mind as to what is in the mind of the guy doing the tagging. This guy, and I'll tell you in a few minutes why, but this guy that we have, this problem we have on the trailway, he appears to be malicious, he appears to be vindictive, and he's tenacious. He is tenacious. All right. Now, the only response that I see from the county is the county goes out there and they do. I don't know who does it. I have no idea. Maybe it's the town. I don't know. Maybe it's a volunteer. I doubt it's a volunteer. But what I'm saying is I don't know who's doing this, but it needs to stop because it's not effective. And it's embarrassing. All right. Graffiti goes up on that tunnel, right? The tunnel where the assault was. Graffiti goes up on that wall. And someone goes out there and paints gray paint over the graffiti. Really? You know what you just did? You just gave the graffiti artist a canvas to paint more graffiti. That's what you did. And then you go out and you paint more gray paint. And then the tag artist, and this has been the process. I'm not reading off textbook definitions. I'm telling you what's going on the trailway. You know, if you're not embarrassed about it, that's fine. But every time you send somebody out there to paint graffiti or paint gray paint over your graffiti, the tag artist goes back out and he writes his graffiti on top of your gray paint. You're giving him a clean canvas. And this goes on and on and on. It's a dog just chasing his tail. You know and that's not what you do in an anti-graffiti plan. That's not what you do. It's not. Like what's next? You're gonna go to Michael's and buy this guy some frames so he can put it around his tags, you know? So like I said, when graffiti's painted over, as is done repeatedly on the trailway, it becomes a magnet to be revandalized. Because why? Because you're giving him a canvas. All right. This guy has a psychological battle with the authorities. This guy's winning for sure, as far as I'm concerned. All right. Now, the graffiti, as I said, graffiti means defiance of authority. That's what graffiti is. Now, the plan that I have, and I'm going to give it in a few, it involves a few minutes, but it's a big plan. All right. But I did it 3 times as a member of the police in the city. I did it 3 times. It worked all 3 times. It's what you do. It's what you do when you're fighting graffiti. All right. Now, what I find particularly disturbing, all right, and I'm not addressing cameras right now, but what I find disappointing, I'll say, is that the site of the assault, the date of the assault was October 19th, right? The tunnel is where the assault occurred. Now, you had all kinds of graffiti in that tunnel. Now, they painted gray paint over the graffiti. The tag artist has been back there several times tagging over your gray paint. This isn't like because the trailway is 12.5 miles long. This isn't in some far off section of the trailway. And you say, well, how are you supposed to know? This guy's been tagging the walls in the last 3 months at the site of the assault. At the site of the assault. And yet the cameras that they put up didn't catch this guy. Nobody has found him. This guy keeps going back to the site of the assault and re-tagging the walls. That tells me that something is broken in this plan, and you gotta revamp it. All right. Now, painting over graffiti, it challenges the graffiti offender to repaint their graffiti. To paint it over an area, as I said, it becomes a canvas for the guy to come back. Now, when combating graffiti, especially in real time, when a tagger responds immediately, this guy comes right back and he goes right over your gray painted area. All right. You have to identify the patterns and the characteristics of the tagger. Now, I took pictures of all his graffiti, and the 2 things that I see is 2 characteristics. This guy is tenacious. All right. Listen, this should have been done already. This should have been done already. If you want to have an anti-crime plan on the trailway, Professor, this should have been done already, all right, by other people. Now, this guy is 2 things. He's tenacious, all right? And what? Because he keeps coming back, and he comes back immediately. He's issuing you a challenge, number 1. Number 2, what is his motive? His motive is defiance of authority. Now, I'm going to show you a picture which I believe proves the point. Now, the making of graffiti is what? It's anonymity. So this thing is probably happening at night. Now, as I said, and have some people learn the hard way, and I've had a lot of people approach me privately saying, damn, the trailway's closed at night and they want to put up lights. But anonymity is what spells out a tag artist, all right? Because obviously he doesn't want no one knowing who he is. He leaves hints in his graffiti, but it's anonymity, right? So he's probably going to the trailway at night and tagging that thing, tagging, the walls. So if he's going at night, the trailway is closed at night, and it's by posted order, which means what? Which means if you catch someone there after the lights go down, after the sun goes down, after dusk, and they're up to no good, you have the legal authority to arrest them for trespass. You absolutely do. That's a good arrest. Now obviously if you see mom and dad, walking the dog, you're not going to arrest them, right? But this gives you, a police officer has one thing that is excellent in this situation: discretion. Cop is not going to arrest mom and dad walking their dog. But they catch a guy with a red can of paint, and you say, well, it's not illegal to have a red can of paint. even though we know what you're doing. But it's after dusk. Guess what? You're going for trespass. All right. Now, as I said, this guy keeps retagging the walls, and he's doing it at the site of the assault. You know, if the site of the assault isn't safe, then is your crime plan working? You know, I don't know, because all we heard about was inputs. All right. In law enforcement, and this is what CompStat is about. You don't tell me about your inputs. Tell me about your outcome. All right. You did this. You got this. You put this into it. You got that out of it. Okay. What is your outcome? What's your baseline measurement? Did you take a measurement of your conditions before you implemented your plan? Now, I believe there's probably some cameras on the trailway. I don't know. I doubt they install the lights after I put it out there that the place is closed at night. But after you ramped up patrols, as supposedly was done, which is another waste of time, what was your measurement? Did you take a measurement of that condition before you implemented? Because you have to do it before and then after. So you already told us what the inputs were, but what is your outcome? What's the result you get out of it? You know, is it working? Is it not? You know, that's the way it works, guys. All right. Now, how to understand your local graffiti problem? You got to ask key questions. You know, you go to the whole thing. Who are the victims? The amount of graffiti, the type of graffiti. I don't think it's necessary to go around taking pictures, comparing the pictures. It's obviously the same guy. You know, I'm looking at the paint. It's red and it looks like it's the same shade. There is some white in it, so I saw that. Now, the last tags that were made and at the site of the assault, it was clearly defiance of authority. You know, and it probably should show you some pictures right now. All right. Now, let me see what the best picture should show. All right. Now, you see this here, right? Now, this here is the Putnam County Trailway at the site of the assault as it existed 2 days before the assault. This is what it looked like. Okay. Then it wound up that they went out there. I don't have that picture available right now, but someone went out there, authorities, I'll say, whether it's the county government, it's not going to be the sheriff's department. So county government or government went out to that site and they put gray paint over those X's and O's. Somebody decided that was a good idea to put gray paint over the X's and O's, even though it has failed for years and years and years. And yet you're going to keep doing it. You're going to keep failing at this. All you got to do is look at the walls inside the tunnel. How many times are you going to paint gray paint over this? You know? Now, you see these X's and O's. Somebody went out and painted gray paint over these X's and O's. So just imagine that, right? Now, look what happened as a result of someone going out there and painting gray paint over the X's and O's. Look what happened here.
This is, it's been.
Look at that. That guy went out there and look what he did. He took red paint and he painted an outline around your gray paint. He painted an outline around your gray paint. Look at that. That is defiance of authority. That's challenge, man. That guy's telling you, F you. I mean, that's embarrassing. I got to tell you, that's embarrassing. This is at the site of the assault. And at a minimum, supposedly, you know, I don't even know for a fact. I hope I'm wrong. But supposedly there's some cameras up. Well, this is the site of the assault. The cameras didn't catch this. The site of the assault. Cameras didn't catch it. You know, I got to tell you, that's not a good sign. Because I mean, look at this. This guy did this. He's antagonizing Putnam County government. He's putting a red outline around the gray patches of paint. So I think we can all agree now that this is not what you do. All right. But like I said, everywhere I go, anywhere that you can put graffiti in, on the trailway, there's graffiti. There's new graffiti. There's old graffiti. There's new graffiti on top of old graffiti. There's new graffiti on top of all the great patches of paint you put out there. It's something else needs to be done. I have a good plan. My video is going to run a little bit too long, but I would like to say it. And I'm quite sure the tag artist is not watching my videos, so I just need my professor to watch it, and that's all. Although I do know other people watch it and get pissed off. And you know what? Look, I've decided, honestly, 2025, 2026, I don't care. All right. This is my expertise. I know this stuff better than anybody in Putnam County. Not only am I a retired NYPD captain, I've been studying for 12 years on the postgraduate level. I know every new strategy there is. You can't keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. Okay. I mean, this is more graffiti here. The other side, there's more graffiti over there. Now, I want to ask you a question here. All right. Now, where would you feel more safe? Would you feel more safe walking through this tunnel? This is the site of the assault, by the way. This is the site of the assault. And if you look on the left and on the right, that's all old graffiti with gray paint painted over it, just waiting for the tag artist to come back so he can re-tag it. And people can continue to feel less safe. This is the site of the assault. Look how those walls look. They look terrible. That looks terrible. Just painting gray paint over it. I mean, you're almost like the county is almost like a tagger itself. You're putting your own tag. You're putting gray paint. You're not solving the problem. You're contributing to it. All right. Now I want you to look at this tunnel very closely. Just look at it for a few seconds. And I want, because I do take a survey for school, and I'm keeping track of my numbers. So far, it's a perfect score. So far, perfect score. All right. Now, tell me this: would you feel safer walking through this tunnel? Don't worry about like what's on the other end, the sunny day. There's an opening. Don't worry about that. Would you feel safer walking through this tunnel? And I've had a couple of people tell me, "Well, I don't walk through tunnels. I walk around." No. That's not the choice. Okay. Assuming you have to walk through a tunnel, would you prefer to walk through this tunnel here? Okay. Would you want to walk through this tunnel, or would you feel more safe walking through this tunnel? Which one? Look at that tunnel. Look at that. What do you not see on those walls? What do you not see? Graffiti. This isn't new. This is 4 years old. The girl who did this, she did it 4 years ago. I saw this going on in the newspaper, probably the Putnam County Courier, right? About 4 years ago. I saw a girl was painting this. There was a story on her painting it. I got in my car right away and I drove out there. You know where this is? This is in a place called Cold Spring, Putnam County. This is Putnam County right here. And you know what this is? This is CPTED. This is crime prevention through environmental design. Believe it or not, that wasn't her intention, but this is crime prevention through environmental design. How? This is territoriality right here. And why? You come into this tunnel, right? Like I said, first of all, he did this work 4 years ago. And when I saw her doing this work, I drove right out there. First of all, to talk to her. Number two, to thank her for what she was doing in Cold Spring and telling her, you're engaging in CPTED. You're engaging right now. You're fighting crime. You're doing more to fight crime, graffiti crime, that anybody has done in Putnam County, including law enforcement. This is a better idea than anything that's been put out. And why? Because look at it. This thing's been up now 4 years, not an ounce of graffiti, nothing. And why? Because a tagger comes in here and he goes, whoa, I don't want no trouble. All right. I don't want no trouble. He looks at these walls and what does he see? He sees a place that's cared for. He sees a place that gets taken care of. He sees a place that if he puts up his tag and he gets caught, he's not getting no $25 fine. If he's under 18, he ain't getting driven home to his parents. He's getting arrested. When he gets arrested, he's being taken to the local town court judge. And that judge also has to run for office. And you think that judge is going to risk his judgeship for you, for a tagger? No. He knows if I do this, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be cleaning graffiti for the next 3 years. I'm gonna get 500 hours community service cleaning graffiti, right? So what does he do? He moves on. He moves on to tag his do his tagging in other places like this, right? So would you feel safer here or there? Where would you feel safer? 23 out of 23 said here. So that means 23 out of 23 said they would feel safer in Cold Spring than they would on the Putnam County Trailway. And this is after law enforcement puts out their plan. The big article on October 24th, right? Now, the plan for graffiti, it's very simple. I did this 3 times, including one time right along the Henry Hudson Parkway at probably about 160th Street. It was huge. It was a huge project. But as you drove south and as you entered into Manhattan from the Bronx, this is what you saw. It was about a block long of graffiti, just on the overpass. So this is what has to happen in Putnam County on the Trailway at this spot, because this is what we did. This is what I did, and it worked 3 times. This is what you're going to do. I need the county executive here. I need Kevin Byrne. All right, Kevin, I need you zoned in on this. I need you dialed in. All right, I need you, brother. Okay, I need you, Kevin, to call a giant press conference, and I want you to say at this press conference that we are going to paint that tunnel, and we're going to have, not on that day of the press conference. You're going to announce a day, nice weather, and we're going to paint that tunnel. We're going to bring maybe grade paint, preferably industrial. They call it industrial white. It's like an outdoor white, almost like light beige. And we're going to paint this entire tunnel. And it's going to take. We're going to have about 40 volunteers. It'll take us 1 day to get this whole tunnel painted. The county's going to pay for the paint and the rollers and everything else. It's going to be all volunteer work. We're going to make a nice day out of it. We'll bring a DJ, someone will volunteer their time, no doubt about it. We'll have hot dogs and hamburgers and everything else. We're going to paint this tunnel, including we're going to paint this disaster over here. All right, which became this disaster. All right, so we're going to paint this whole thing, and what we're going to do is after we paint it, right? Now, Kevin, this is your press conference now. I need you to bring everybody you can. Everyone and their brother. You need to bring everybody. All department heads, all their workers, just for half an hour. Call a giant press conference. We're going to paint this whole thing. And the tagger, he's not coming back. Because if he comes back, we're going to be mad. He's not going to come back. He's got a good heart. Okay? So what's going to happen is, to say June 9th, we're coming out here, we're going to paint. June 9th comes and goes. We paint the whole thing. And we Facebook Live it. I mean, we make a big media event out of this. The bigger, the better, right? And then about probably 7 p.m. or so, 8 p.m., we're out. We're leaving. Taking all the stuff, we're leaving. And the tagger, he's not coming back. And we all leave. Except for 2 plainclothes members of the sheriff's department. And they're going to hang out all night. And what's going to happen? Your tagger, he's coming back tonight. That fucker's coming back tonight. Not tomorrow night. Not after breakfast in the morning. Tonight. He's coming back tonight. And how do we know this? I did this 3 times. This works. Because he's so proud of his work. He's so proud of being defiant of authority. He can't let this pass for 1 day. He knows that this is a challenge to him. And he's not going to let this pass for 1 minute. As soon as everyone's out of there, he's coming back and he's going to tag it. Sheriff's Department's going to get it. And guess what? Guess what? Guess who's going to be cleaning this? Guess who's going to be cleaning that? For 12 miles, that guy's going to be cleaning everything. Okay? I'm telling you, this works. I did it. I did it on the Henry Hudson Parkway because it was on my beat. I did it on a building. In fact, the address was 517 West 169th Street, right next to, it was between Audubon and Amsterdam Avenue, north side of the street. Big drug building, huge graffiti. And I said, you know what? I'll get the building owner to buy the paint. They always do. He bought this, bought the paint, the rollers, everything else. I got the precinct community youth council. They came out, they painted it over. And me and another cop, we sat on it in uniform. We sat on it that night. They came back to tag it, and we got him. That guy's probably still cleaning up graffiti. The judge hit him so hard, you know? But listen, this stuff, it works. You cannot, and that's how I'm going to finish it. You cannot have an anti-crime plan without addressing graffiti. You can't do it. All right. And the fact that this was done, you know, they put out some sort of plan on October 24th in the newspaper. The Trailway has a significant graffiti problem, and there was no mention of graffiti mediation. You know, not good. So, look, not only am I doing this for school, but I decided that every project that I have to do for school, from now on, I'm going to make it about Putnam County, because this is what I do. I'm very good at it. For years, I kept my mouth shut. I'm not keeping my mouth shut anymore. All right. I need to be able to do my projects. And if, people feel embarrassed about it, well, then, step up your game. All right. Step up your game. This should have been addressed. Graffiti should have been addressed. And it's not. I hope it will be now. I don't care who gets credit. All right. As long as my taxes. Listen, I pay $16,000 a year in taxes. All right. I expect that. So, in any event, Andrew DiStefano, have a great night. Thank you. God bless. Be safe. Be well.